I know you're busy. You got a million things to do, but you should never, ever be too busy to take care of the one and only you. Take care of your health. This is a 1 hour restorative practice. It'll give you the zeal to have your best day ever, best day possible. Oh, zeal. I love the word zeal. It means enthusiastic diligence. So approach your practice that way. Just be excited about it. Stick with it. You can do it. Yes, you can. Do what you can with what you got. Always do what you can with what you got. Don't expect more. Don't give yourself less. As the bottom of the screen says, do what's right for your body. If something hurts, one of these poses doesn't feel good, don't do it. Back out of it. Take it to a lesser percentage. If you don't like it, don't do it. Or maybe try it and breathe through it. It's all right. You can do this practice. You can do every practice. We practice every day, live start to finish, for about an hour. Every practice is different. Come check us out. Today is a restorative practice. I'm Jan. This is 316 Yoga, and it's always different. I promise you that. Okay, so here's the deal. First thing we always do is we lock in a stress number. On a scale of 1 to 5 or 1 to 10, what's going on in that one and only body of yours? Lock in that number, and let's come into a child's pose. So grab your bolster, grab your blanket, and let's come on down to your mat. You're going to need your bolster, your blanket, your blocks. Improvise if you have to. But just make it work. Spread your knees wide, bring your hips back toward your heels. Your bolster, it's vertical on your mat. You can cover it with a blanket to kind of bring it up a little higher if you like. And scoot up a little bit or scoot back, whatever feels good. The idea is you want to rest your chest on this setup. So come on down. I'm going to set a timer. We're going to be here for 5 minutes. Here we go. All right. Come on down, rest your chest, and turn your cheek maybe in one direction. I'll let you know when we're about halfway through so you can turn the other cheek. All right, you got your stress number locked in. Just focus. I mentioned this earlier. One life. Think about that. You've only got one life. So that's the word. It's 2 words for today. But you've only got one of them, right? So take care of yourself and have, just make an investment. Let your yoga be an investment in the quality of your future. Take care of yourself. All right, so come on down. Rest your head. Close your eyes. Lengthen the spine. Heavy chest. Take a deep breath in. And a deep sighing breath out. Let it go with that sigh. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. A few breaths like that, and then whenever you're ready, you close your lips and breathe in and out of your nose. If you can, if you want to. Deepen your breaths. And here's the challenging part. Try to let the thoughts go. Let the worry go. Doesn't help to worry. Just makes you anxious. Calm your anxious mind. Be at peace here. And the challenge isn't to be perfect. What is perfect anyway? The challenge is to be whole. To feel right in the one and only body you have. Chest is heavy because you feel supported. You feel supported by your bolster, by the earth beneath you. You don't have to hold on. You can let yourself go because the earth has you. Breathe in. Breathe out. And if you've been resting on one cheek, it is time. It's always a good time to turn the other cheek. Turn your head in the other direction and rest here. Deepen your breath. Your entire world right now is just on this mat. Don't worry about anything. Just feel what you feel in your one and only body. With each deep exhale, feel your tailbone go more to the back of the room. As you settle into this stillness. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And as I always say, it is your yoga. You're doing it from the peace of your own home, and you're doing it your way. If this child's pose just feels wonderful to you, stay here and enjoy it. I'm going to move into a reclined angle pose, which is kind of like fish pose. If you want to stay here, stay here. If you want to join me, let's come on up. Come on up nice and slowly. You can keep your bolster right where it is. Maybe you want to keep the blanket on it. That's fine. Bring your two blocks kind of to the sides of your mat. I'm going to take the blanket off because I'm going to use it to cover my lap. I'm also going to use my eye shades. You might want to do too. So, all right. Hey, hi, Betty. I'm glad you're here with your restorative practice. Tammy, thank you. I'm glad you like the music. Lynn, Stan, Tyrone, Lisa, Kelly, Margaret, Tina, Rena, Marietta. Glad you're here. All right. The bolster is on your mat. Scoot your bottom up next to it. Grab your eye shade or your towel. That's always pleasant. Scoot the blocks so they can support your knees. So scoot them on down. Come to recline on your bolster. Bring the soles of your feet to touch. Figure out, how you want the blocks height-wise. Place the blanket maybe on your belly. That might feel nice. We always like the weight of a blanket. And cover your eyes with your eye shade, if that speaks to you. All right. In this fish-like pose here on your bolster with your knees spread wide like a goddess, soles of the feet touching. Arms down by your sides, palms face up. Maybe snow angel them out a little bit if you like that. Find what you like. Get comfortable. Let everything go. Don't try to support yourself here. That's why we've got the blocks under the knees. So everything is supported. Nothing's hanging out in space. Stay here and enjoy this pose. 5 minutes. Breathe in, breathe out. And talk to yourself in your head, because you're going to talk to yourself in your head. It's hard to avoid. Try to let the thoughts go, but talk to yourself in your head about saying something positive. Speak to yourself like you would speak to someone that you love. Maybe you say, I am worthy of this time spent on me. Find peace, and I'll be quiet for 3 minutes. Deepen your breath. Take a deep breath in and a deep, slow breath out. And just answer this little question in your mind. How are you feeling here in this pose? If it's really speaking to you, stay here longer. I'm going to go into a pentacle pose next, so you decide what you want to do. All right, try to minimize the movements. Slowly move your legs and send them long onto your mat. And then pull that bolster out or roll off of it, whatever works for you. Just scoot it aside, don't let it go too far. And pentacle pose. You know this one. Take it slowly, enjoy the journey. Spread your legs wide, legs are long and extended. Spread your arms wide, arms are long and extended. And come into that capital letter X shape on your mat. And adjust. Don't feel discomfort here. Adjust your shoulders if you need to. Adjust your legs, adjust. And just breathe. Let things go. We're not going to be here very long. It's just a little bit of a reset. Just be at peace. And know that rest is not idleness. No, it's not. Rest is not idleness. It's resetting. It's restoring. So you can get back in the game, being the best player that you can be. Breathe in. Breathe out. Soften the area between your eyebrows. And just be in this present moment. Feel the temperature of your room, the mat beneath you. Just be right here, right now. Take a deep breath in. And your slow, deep breath out. All right. Arms slowly float, and just think about that verb float. Just let them float down by your sides, nice and slowly. Just feel them moving through space. Press on up a little bit, and we're going to get either our blocks or the bolster to do your supported bridge pose. So I'm going to use the bolster because it's a larger surface area than the blocks, and it just feels a little more comfortable. So scoot your bolster into the scene, placing it horizontally on your mat, kind of at your low back. Maybe you've got your eye shade with you. Come to recline here and adjust the bolster so it's low on your back. You're going to have to move it a little bit to get it just right. And what is just right? Just right is where it feels really nice to you. So, supported bridge. To do that, you'd keep the soles of your feet on your mat, adjust the bolster or the block so it's nice and low, so you almost feel as if the low part of your spine is kind of hanging off the prop that you're on, or just get it the way you like it. Maybe cover up with the blanket a little bit, maybe place it on the hips, cover the eyes, just block out the world. All right, so we're going to stay in this supported bridge pose for 5 minutes. And you decide how you're liking how this feels. You can always move this pose into that pontoon pose. Remember that one? That's where you send your legs long. Ooh, and you'll feel it in your hip flexors, in the front of your hips. Maybe you want to stay there. So this 5 minutes is yours to decide what you need, exactly what your body needs. Adjust, rest, be at peace, and I'll let you know when the time's up. Arms wherever you like, however you like, whatever seems right for you today. Don't hold on. Think of where you can soften. And just let gravity work with you as you let your body be heavy. Take a deep breath in and a deep, full breath out. I like how many poses feel at the bottom of a full exhale. You really feel like you've taken the pose a little further. If you haven't already moved into a pontoon pose, which is, when your legs are extended long, do that now. Just give it a go, give it a try, and just feel the lengthening in your hip flexors, the front of your hips. And just for a moment, think about how, when you sit, those are compressed. When you're in this pontoon pose, you're lengthening those hip flexors. Just allows you to have more mobility and flexibility in your hips. And you use your hips for everything, don't you? Your walking, your movement, your stretching. It's just so important to stretch them out when most of the time they're so compressed from sitting. So enjoy this pose. Maybe sometime if you're watching TV or reading a book, maybe grab your bolster. Why not use it off of your mat as well? And lie in your pontoon pose for a bit. Just give it a go. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Stay here if you want. If it's feeling super great, do it. Give yourself the time now. I'm going to move into a sleeping swan pose or that reclined figure 4. Because if your knees are bothersome, sleeping swan might not feel so great. I'll show you both. So if you want to come out of this pose, bend your knees, send your hips on up to the sky, and just scoot your bolster or your blocks aside for a little bit. Come on down. Now you're going to have to come on back up to do the setup here. All right, I'll show you sleeping swan first so you can get into it. Bring your bolster to the top of your mat. Bring your right knee up close to that bolster. Send your left leg long on your mat. Now you might want to put a blanket underneath the left knee that's extended to make it feel better. Work your right shin a little more parallel to the top of your mat. I'd recommend you have a block nearby too, and slip it under your right glutes. The leg that's really bent, put the block underneath it to keep your hips equal distant to your mat. Come on down to your forearms on the bolster. Maybe crisscross your hands and rest your head on your hands, or eventually work toward rolling the bolster away and bringing your hands down to your mat. Maybe that feels good. So get set up in your sleeping swan if you like it. If your knees are just saying, not today, let's do another pose. All right, I'm going to set a timer for 3 minutes if you're in that sleeping swan. All right, if you want to recline, come down to your back, crisscross your legs. Left leg is planted, right leg is in a figure 4. And press the inner right thigh open. You can play with this a little bit too, with the intensity, by maybe lifting the left leg up and hugging it in. You decide what works for you. I'm going to go back to the first variation as these 3 minutes tick down. All right. Enjoy the depth of your breath. Think of your breath going to your hips to soften the hips. And maybe come back to your little mantra of I am worthy of the time spent on me. Soften your shoulders. And allow your body to release the tension in the hips. Soften in your jaws. Soften in your shoulders. And don't think of running from this pose. Think of settling in and finding peace in your body. And remember, it's all about you. It's all about how it feels for you. Maybe you say, I'm ready to move that bolster away and come on down to my crisscrossed hands. Maybe you say, not today. I'm bringing the bolster back. Totally good. Success is not in how the pose looks or how far you take it. Success is in how it feels in your one and only body. Let it feel good. Take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. So we've been in this variation of Sleeping Swan, whichever one you've decided to take, for about 3 minutes. If you want to stay longer, go ahead. But just give the other side equal time too. So I'm going to press on up out of this pose. If you are in the reclined Sleeping Swan, in that figure 4, change your legs out. Do just the opposite. I'm going to draw my left toes toward my shin. I'm going to send my right leg back to meet my left, and I'm just going to shake it out a little bit, extending it and moving it to the side. Just get the circulation going again in that leg. Then it's time to switch them out. We're going to do the other leg. Send your right leg long. Bring your block to your left side now as you bend your left knee, bringing the left knee up close to that bolster. Right hand takes the left foot, works the shin a little more parallel to the top of the mat. You know where it'll feel right. Slip the block under your left glutes, and let's go for the 3 minutes. Take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Settle in here, and let's start. Softened jaws, softened shoulders. Right leg long and straight on your mat. Breath going to that left hip. I'm going to scoot my bolster a little higher to the top of the mat. That feels better for me. Think of both hips getting closer to the earth as you let go of tension in your left hip. Don't hold on. Let your shoulders be soft. Can you soften in your glute muscles a little bit more? Just try not to clench. Let go. Deepen your breath. Send that full deep breath to that left hip. Less than a minute left. Maybe if you're not already down all the way on your mat, maybe you roll the bolster away and just attempt to bring your arms down. A couple deep breaths. Maybe sigh it out your mouth. Soft glutes, soft hips, flexibility in the hips, mobility in the hips. You're helping it. You're helping your body feel what it needs to feel. One more deep cycle of breath. Knowing it's the last deep cycle of breath in this pose, really soften up what you got. Really let the hips come toward the mat. Breathe in. Breathe out. All right, it's sometimes hard to remember how you feel when you first went into the pose as opposed to when you're coming out of the pose. Try to remember back. How do your hips feel now? I bet they feel pretty good. And you can stay longer in the pose if you like. We did 3 minutes on that side and 3 minutes on the other. You just kind of want to even it out. Give them kind of equal time. Maybe you want to go for 5 minutes. That's good. Or maybe come back later today and try it again. All right, caterpillar pose. Let's come out of this pose. If you're in the sleeping swan pose, let's work the left leg back to meet the other leg. And come to almost like a neutral tabletop. Lift the leg up. Oh, and just move it around. Wake it up. All right, let's come to seated. Send your legs long on your mat. We're going to take the bolster and place it on our legs. Now, it might not feel really good having your legs super straight, so you might want to put the bolster underneath your knees. Maybe that feels good. You can take your blanket and place that on your legs, and we're going to hinge forward here. You can put a little bend in your knees without the bolster. Maybe that feels all right. Put the bolster on top. Just get the legs comfortable. What is doable today? I'm going to send my legs straight, place the bolster on top, place the blanket on top. I'm going to work on my low back a little bit. You got the bolster here, blanket on top of it maybe, hinge forward. Just bring your chest a little forward, all right? Find peace here. Maybe you got a nice bolster or a little blanket underneath your knees. Reach your arms, maybe long on the bolster. You could have them relaxed down by your side as well. Close your eyes, and we're just going to work the chest closer and closer to the setup of your props. Maybe without the blanket eventually. Working your chest closer and closer to however you've got your props set up. As you feel the lengthening in your low back. Breathe in. Breathe out. With each big exhale, you're really stretching out your low back. Remember the good sensation of stretching out the hip flexors, the front of the hips in your pontoon pose? Think of the same thing happening in your low back as you exhale fully, allowing greater extension to happen in that part of your back. Breathe in and let the tension go. Your spine is long. You've got length in your low back, allowing you to reach the crown of your head more towards your toes, and your chest coming down on your blanket and your bolster, or your bolster, whatever you've got set up. You're finding length and resting into it. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. I am so worthy of the time spent on me. Yes, you are. Enjoy this caterpillar pose. If it's feeling super great in your low back, stay here. I'm going to take a legs up the wall pose. That's a favorite of so many of us because it helps alleviate so much tension in the body. And we've all got it and we're all holding on to it. We're all alike in that regard. If you want to do a legs up the wall pose, slowly come out of your caterpillar. But remember, if it's feeling super good, stay there. Most of these poses, when I get into them, I want to stay longer in all of them, but I got to make some choices, right? But you're making a good choice by being here. All right, let's go to the wall. Bring all that you got. Bring your blanket, bring your eye shade, or your little towel. You could even bring your bolster if you want. I'm going to keep it simple, and I'm just going to bring the blanket to the wall. You could place your bolster right next to the wall, and you can put your hips up on it. So I'm just going to scoot up next to the wall. You know, nothing magical here. Just scoot one hip up closer to the wall, and then come down to your back and send your legs up the wall. Put your heels on the wall, and you're not at a 90-degree angle. You're a little bit away. Let it feel good here. Find what feels great. Cover your eyes with your eye shade. That's always nice. Now your tailbone. Very tip of your spine. Think of putting it more on the earth. And you can, when you think about it and tell yourself to do it, you can really send it down. Draw your toes towards your shins, maybe. And other times we've taken something heavy. You can take sandbags, or you could even take your bolster and balance it on your feet. It takes a little bit of movement to get it up there. But push the feet down, allowing the tailbone to come down more onto the mat. Arms down by your sides. Tee them out if that feels great. Or put one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. As your focus is on feeling the breath in the belly, or your heartbeat. Just let it go. All right, we've got about 5 minutes here. Enjoy it and be at peace. Deep breaths. Your shoulders are relaxed on your mat. This is where you are meant to be, right here, right now, just for a few minutes. Be fully present. Re-soften the area between your eyebrows, your jaws. Re-soften your shoulders. Your arms are heavy. Your tailbone is nestled into the earth. It's just your belly breath. Breathe in. Breathe out. Find total stillness. Take a deep breath in and your deep breath out. Stay here longer if you like. I'm going to go into a final Shavasana pose, but this is a fine way to end your practice too. So if you want to stay here for another 5 or 10 minutes, go for it. It does great things for your body. I'm going to come off the wall, bending the knees, rolling the hips down, coming off the wall, and making my way back to my mat. Hopefully you don't have to go very far. And then recline on your back. Cover up with your blanket. Cover up with your eye shade. Lots of ways to take your final Shavasana. Maybe you put the blocks under your feet. Maybe you put the bolster underneath your knees. Arms down by your sides, palms up or down. You determine today what seems right for you. Legs are long, but your heels are kind of spread to the edges of your mat. Shoulders are away from your ears. Tuck your shoulders a little under your back. Eyes are closed. Spine is long. You are at peace. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. This is your practice. You know exactly what you need. Breathe any way you like. But let the thoughts go just for a few more minutes. Find total stillness. This is a moment of conscious relaxation. Get the most out of it. Breathe. Soften your face a little bit more. Unclench your jaws if your teeth are touching. Soften your shoulders away from your ears just a little bit more. Deep breath in. Deep, slightly slower breath out. Take a deep breath in. Refreshing, restoring breath in, followed by a slow breath out. Stay here longer if you'd like. Hit a pause button on your remote control if you want to stay longer. If it's time to wrap up your practice and meet and greet your day, start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Circle your wrists and your ankles. Inhale, let those arms float up overhead. Point your toes to the bottom of your mat. Take a big stretch as if this were the first stretch before you get out of bed in the morning. Breathe in, breathe out, stretch it out. Let it all go. Bend your knees and your elbows and roll into a fetal position onto one side or the other. Bend your low arm, rest your head on your bicep. Top shoulder is relaxed away from the ear. Take a deep breath in and a deep, slow breath out. Savor the breath, savor the moment. Do another big cycle of breath, just being at peace and enjoying the moment. If it's time, float on up to a comfortable seated position. Maybe use your hands or no hands at all. Just whatever is good for you. Crisscross the legs. Get comfortable with that blanket. Hands to prayer center. Press your thumbs into your chest. Lengthen up through the crown of your head. And soften in your shoulders. Gently blink your eyes open. You did it. You are very busy, but it's important to take time for you. What is more important than the health of your mind, your body, and your soul? Give it the zeal, the enthusiastic diligence to take care of yourself. All right, as you go on with your day, have that enthusiastic diligence. And think about that stress number, what it was and what it is. It's a lot lower now, isn't it? That's good. Go on with that today. Don't let it peak any higher than this. Be at peace. You'll make those around you wonder. But tell them about our yoga. They can do it too to feel that peace. All right, fruits of the Spirit. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. May it all be yours today. Have a great day, everybody. See you on your mats tomorrow. Love you. Goodbye. Hey, you. Hi. Good girl. Bye-bye. Good girl. It's summertime, and maybe you've wandered away from your practice a little bit, but the fact that you're here encourages me to know that you come back to your mat. Always come back to your mat. Come back to the four corners of your mat to find peace in your mind and your body, and to find strength in your body as well. And it's all good. It's your yoga. You're making it work your way. You're rocking it. So come back. Don't ever quit. Tell your friends about your yoga. Tell them how much fun you're having from the privacy of your own home doing your yoga your way. Our yoga is free for anybody and everybody, and they can watch from the privacy of their own home as well. Tell them about it. If you'd like to support our broadcast, you can visit our website. It's www.316yoga.com. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support, and thank you for just